Hello, my Ravens. Today, on Facebook, I released the very first preview from Artemis, the opening scene. So, since not everybody out there, all my YouTube followers and everybody, they're not all on Facebook, so they probably didn't get to see it. So I'm going to do this as a reading on the video, so you guys can get to hear it too, and I can spread it all over the place. This is the opening scene from Artemis, and it will act as a preview, and if you like it, remember it will be out in July, so you've only got about a month to go. And it's basically a sci-fi slash horror book, and if you've seen the other videos, you know it's the plot is about an animal scientist who gets turned into half man, half animal, and takes out animal abusers. And there's kind of a bigger picture in it too, in a place called Nesting Ground City. But let's just get started, and I'm gonna read you the opening scene and hope you enjoy it. Tiffany Johnson ran. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Sorry. Off to a good start, huh? Tiffany Johnson bolted up the stairs and slammed the bedroom door. She ran for her life. A madman was in the house. A psychotic killer with an insatiable taste for blood. Why, she thought, why didn't I go with Mom and Dad to the stupid opera? I knew this killer was on the loose. 2 people at school had already fallen victim to him, but she never thought it would happen to her. Essentially, by begging her parents to let her stay at home, she had begged for her own funeral. Death stomped up the stairs, and she shivered. Axe the Clown. The media had proclaimed him the perfect moniker. He was an axe murderer dressed as a clown. But he was far from your happy, joking, balloon animal-making clown. This clown walked the halls of insanity. He craved blood. His only purpose in life was to spill it. It didn't matter what age, race, or sex. He wanted only to bury the blade of his axe into the soft, fragile flesh of another and hear their screams. Tiffany listened as each footstep came closer and closer. The floor shook as the 7-foot-tall giant approached. "Come out and play, little girl," he called out. "I don't want much from you, only your insides." His gravelly voice made her want to vomit. She fought off the urge. "So, you want to play games? Okay. I like games. Are you behind door number 1? He swung the axe into her parents' bedroom. She could tell by the direction of the sound. He was doing this in hopes of making her cry out. "Are you behind door number 2? It took every ounce of willpower she had not to cry out. This was her door he swung the blade into. It sank a mere 6 inches above her head. "Maybe it's door number 3, he shouted, swinging the blade into the bathroom door. I bet you are in the bathroom, probably curled up inside the bathtub praying for help to come." Oh, please, God, let him go into the bathroom, she thought. If only he would go into the empty room, or even in its direction. Just maybe that would give her enough time to bolt downstairs and get outside. She didn't even breathe as she listened for his footsteps, but she heard only silence. Did he walk into the bathroom without her hearing it? That question was painfully answered as the clown's left arm burst through the door and clutched her throat. She couldn't breathe. She could only gasp as his gigantic hand squeezed her windpipe. Now his right hand, with the axe grasped tightly, appeared through a separate hole. Finally his head punched through a third hole in the door. Wide-eyed and choking, she gazed into his demonic eyes. His white-painted face smiled with pleasure. Though he had a big red nose, there was nothing comical about him. Now he spoke the phrase that had been the last thing his victims ever heard. "How does it feel to know you're going to die?" At that, he buried the blade in her stomach. The red and blue lights of the police cars and the ambulances lit up the night. EMTs and the crime lab went about their work. Local news anchor Johnny Moore waited for his cue to begin the story. "Are we ready, Eddie?" "You're on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening, everyone. I'm Johnny Moore with Channel 16 News, here with this breaking story. Tonight, Mr. and Mrs. Alfred Johnson returned home at 11 p.m. to discover the body of their 17-year-old daughter, Tiffany, mangled and in pieces. This was no random incident. It has been confirmed that this is the work of the terror of Nesting Ground City, Maryland, Axe the Clown. The words that have haunted citizens for over a year now were carved into the wall next to the body. The demonic killer's catchphrase. How does it feel to know you're going to die? Here at the scene of the crime, lab officials and the chief of police, John Colton, who declined comment. This death will bring the body count of this madman to 86. For over a year, this maniac has been terrorizing the city and escaping police officials, but lately his number of victims have increased at a much faster rate. This is sending many citizens into a state of panic and causing them to move to new territory. Channel 16 will continue to follow this story, and if there are any new developments, you will be the first to know. For Channel 16 News, I'm Johnny Moore, signing off. Good evening, everyone. That's a wrap, Eddie said, putting down the camera. Good, now let's get the hell out of here. Why are you so jumpy tonight? Have you looked around? There's a 17-year-old girl in that ambulance and at least 5 pieces. Hey, we live in the big city. These things happen. Yeah, here and there, not 86 times in a row. And need I remind you that the sicko who did this is still on the loose? The cops will get him. He can't hide forever. I wish I had a little more of your laid-back attitude, Eddie, but I don't. It's different when you have a family. I have a 16-year-old daughter at home. That could have just as easily been her tonight. We don't need the cops. We need a superhero. Well, that was it. That was the reading from my upcoming book, Artemis. It'll be out in July, and I don't want to quote any prices yet because I don't know for a fact what the exact prices will be. So I will give all that information and do an official promo video whenever I can. And that was just to give you a sample to let you know what you're in for. It's going to be dark, it's going to be gory, and it's probably the darkest thing I've written so far. So if you enjoyed my previous work, or if you've never read any of my work before, this might be a great way to get started. So, like I always say, in this case it was happy listening. But until next time, happy reading.